The vanishing of the Sodder children. The Sodder family lived in Fayetteville, West Virginia, in the early 1940s. George and Jenny Sodder, Italian immigrants, built a life with their 10 children in this small, close-knit community. George owned a successful trucking company, and the family was well known and respected in the area. During this time, the world was reeling from the aftermath of World War II. The war had ended just a year earlier in 1945, leaving many countries to rebuild and recover from the devastation. In America, the war had brought economic growth, but it also left scars and lingering tensions, particularly with the rise of the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union. The world was in a state of flux, with old alliances shifting and new global tensions emerging. It was against this backdrop that the Sodder family's tragedy unfolded. On Christmas Eve, 1945, a fire broke out in the Sodder home. 5 of the 10 Sodder children vanished without a trace, leaving behind a mystery that remains unsolved to this day. Despite extensive searches and investigations, no remains were ever found, and the case grew colder with each passing year. The Sodder family never gave up hope, continuing to search for their missing children and seeking answers until their final days. The vanishing of the Sodder children remains one of America's most haunting unsolved mysteries, a story of loss, resilience, and the enduring quest for truth. On Christmas Eve, 1945, the Sodder family was gathered in their home, celebrating the holiday with joy and laughter. George and Jenny, along with 9 of their 10 children, were all present, enjoying the festive spirit. Their eldest son was away, serving in the military, unable to join the family celebration. That night, the children had asked their mother if they could stay up late to play with some new toys they had received as Christmas gifts. Jenny agreed, allowing them to stay up as long as they remembered to turn off the lights and lock the doors before going to bed, a simple request. Around 12:30 a.m., Jenny was awakened by the unexpected ringing of the telephone. The caller was a woman whose voice she didn't recognize, asking for someone Jenny didn't know, adding to her confusion. Jenny informed the caller that she had reached the wrong number and hung up, feeling slightly uneasy. As she went back to bed, Jenny noticed that the lights were still on and the curtains were open, something unusual. Assuming the children had forgotten to turn them off, she did so herself and returned to bed, hoping to get some rest. Shortly after, Jenny heard a loud bang on the roof, followed by a rolling noise, which startled her. Moments later, she smelled smoke, a scent that filled her with dread. Rushing out of bed, Jenny discovered that the house was on fire, starting from George's office, flames spreading quickly. She woke George, and the two managed to get 4 of their children out of the house, their hearts racing. However, 5 of their children, Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty, were trapped inside, their fate uncertain. The fire department was called, but due to a series of unfortunate events, they arrived too late to save the house or the children inside. The Sodder family was left devastated, their home destroyed, and 5 of their beloved children missing, presumed dead in the fire. The tragedy made headlines, and the community mourned with the Sodders, but questions remained about what truly happened the fateful night. In the days that followed, George and Jenny began to suspect that the fire was not an accident, and their search for answers would lead them down a path filled with mystery and heartache. George and Jenny desperately tried to rescue their children. George attempted to use a ladder to reach their upstairs window, but the ladder was mysteriously missing from its usual spot. This was the first of many strange occurrences that night. He then tried to start his trucks to move them closer to the house for a makeshift ladder, but neither truck would start, despite being in good working condition the day before. It was as if an unseen force was working against them. With the house quickly consumed by flames, George and Jenny could do nothing but watch helplessly as the fire destroyed their home, along with the 5 children they believed were trapped inside. Their hearts were breaking, and their minds were racing with questions. The fire department, hindered by a shortage of manpower due to the holiday and a lack of a working phone at the station, didn't arrive until the next morning. The delay was agonizing for the Sodder family. By then, the Sodder home was reduced to ashes. The once lively household was now a smoldering ruin, and the fate of the 5 missing children remained a haunting mystery. George and Jenny, refusing to give up hope, began sifting through the ashes, searching for any sign of their children. They found nothing. No bones, no remains, nothing to indicate that their children had perished in the fire. They contacted the police, who conducted a brief investigation but found no evidence of foul play. The official conclusion was that the children had died in the fire, but George and Jenny were not convinced. Determined to find the truth, the Sodders put up missing posters and offered a reward for any information leading to the whereabouts of their children. Their desperate search for answers had only just begun. The investigation and unanswered questions. In the aftermath, the fire was officially attributed to faulty wiring, a common cause of house fires during that era. However, the Sodders were not convinced by this explanation and had their own doubts. George had recently had the wiring checked by a professional, and it was found to be in good condition, raising questions about the official cause. Moreover, the family noticed several strange occurrences leading up to the fire, which only deepened their suspicions. A few months earlier, a man had visited the home trying to sell life insurance, which seemed odd to the family. When George declined the offer, the man reportedly threatened that the house would go up in smoke and that the family would be destroyed, hinting at George's outspoken opposition to Italian dictator Benito Mussolini. Additionally, just days before the fire, a stranger was seen watching the Sodder children as they came home from school, which was highly unusual and unsettling. This, combined with the odd phone call they received and the mysterious disappearance of their ladder, led the Sodders to suspect foul play. When the fire was finally extinguished, investigators found no trace of the 5 missing children, which was highly unusual. No bones or remains were recovered from the ashes, leading George and Jenny to believe that their children had not perished in the fire, but had been kidnapped, a theory that gained traction over time. They conducted their own investigation, uncovering further strange details and inconsistencies that only fueled their determination. A woman in a nearby town claimed to have seen the missing children in a car the night of the fire, adding another layer of mystery to the case. Another woman said she saw them at a hotel in Charleston, West Virginia, with 2 men and 2 women of Italian descent, which seemed to corroborate the kidnapping theory. Despite these leads, the police and the FBI were unable to find any concrete evidence to support the Sodders' claims, leaving the case unresolved. Over the years, George and Jenny spent a considerable amount of money hiring private detectives and placing ads in newspapers, hoping to find any information about their children, but to no avail. They even put up a large billboard along Route 16, displaying photos of the 5 children and offering a substantial reward for any information leading to their whereabouts. However, despite these relentless efforts and the passage of many years, the fate of the Sodder children remains a mystery to this day, leaving the family with unanswered questions and a lingering hope for closure. Over the years, many theories have emerged about what happened to the Sodder children. Some believe that the children were kidnapped by the Sicilian mafia, possibly as retribution for George's anti-Mussolini views. Others think that the children might have been taken and raised by another family, with the fire set as a cover-up. There is also speculation that the fire was a tragic accident and that the children's remains were simply not found in the ashes due to the intense heat. However, experts argue that bones would have still been found even in such a fire, especially considering that small household items were discovered in the debris. Some witnesses claim to have seen the children in the back of a car that night, leading to further speculation about a possible abduction. Despite numerous leads and sightings over the years, none have been definitively proven to be the Sodder children. The Sodder family even took legal action, hoping to uncover the truth, but the case remains unsolved. The mystery of the Sodder children continues to haunt the family and the community, with many still searching for answers. Modern investigators and researchers continue to delve into the case, hoping that new technology might finally solve this decades-old mystery. The case of the Sodder children is a tragic reminder of how quickly life can change, often in the blink of an eye, and how crucial it is to be prepared for emergencies, no matter how unlikely they may seem. While the Sodders did everything they could to protect their family, their efforts were not enough to prevent the disaster. The mysterious circumstances surrounding the fire suggest that more could have been done to ensure the safety of their children, highlighting the importance of vigilance. Here are some key lessons we can learn from this tragedy to better protect our own families and communities. Home safety. Ensure that your home is equipped with smoke detectors, fire extinguishers, and other essential safety tools. Make sure that all exits are accessible and free from obstructions at all times. Regularly check that all safety equipment is functioning properly and replace any faulty items immediately. Community vigilance. Pay attention to unusual activity around your home or neighborhood and stay connected with your neighbors. If you notice anything suspicious, report it to local authorities without delay. Emergency planning. Have a clear and practice emergency plan for your family, including regular drills. This includes knowing how to escape the house in case of a fire, where to meet outside, and ensuring everyone understands the plan, and how to contact emergency services quickly and efficiently. Teach children safety protocols Educate your children on what to do in various emergency situations, such as a fire, and ensure they understand the importance of these protocols. Or, if they feel unsafe around a stranger, empower them with knowledge and confidence. Make sure they know how to contact you and emergency services and have important numbers memorized or easily accessible. Stay informed. Be aware of potential threats in your community and stay updated on local news and alerts, whether they are from environmental hazards or criminal activity. Knowledge is a powerful tool. Knowledge is power when it comes to protecting your loved ones, and staying informed can make all the difference. By learning from past tragedies, we can take steps to ensure a safer future for our families and communities. The disappearance of the Sodder children is one of the most haunting, unsolved mysteries in American history. On Christmas Eve in 1945, a fire consumed the Sodder family home in Fayetteville, West Virginia. Despite the blaze, 5 of the 10 Sodder children were never found. Theories abound, ranging from kidnapping to human trafficking, but no conclusive evidence has ever surfaced. While the truth about what happened to Maurice, Martha, Louis, Jenny, and Betty may never be known, their story serves as a poignant reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of vigilance, preparation, and community awareness. The Sodder family never gave up hope, tirelessly searching for answers and keeping the memory of their children alive through billboards, flyers, and public appeals. As we reflect on this tragedy, let us take the necessary steps to safeguard our families and ensure that such a heartbreaking event never happens again. The Sodder children's story is a call to action for all of us to be more aware of our surroundings and to support one another in times of crisis. By fostering a strong sense of community and vigilance, we can help prevent such tragedies in the future. In memory of the Sodder children, let us honor their legacy by being proactive in our efforts to protect our loved ones. Whether through community programs, safety drills, or simply staying informed, every action counts. The mystery of the Sodder children may remain unsolved, but their story continues to inspire and remind us of the enduring power of hope and resilience.